for a day, you lovely lot of Moonstompers out there. I hope you're doing fine. A very warm welcome back to the channel. I'm Mrs Moonstomper.
And I'm Mr Moonstomper. Guys, it's absolutely amazing to have you on board. Thank you so much for stopping by. And do you know what? We couldn't do this without you. Could we, Mrs Moonstomper?
That's true, so true.
Or could we? No,
No.
we couldn't. No, definitely not.
True.
So, Mrs Moonstomper.
Yes, Mr Moonstomper.
Isn't the channel doing well?
Yet again, yes. Very, very well.
Yeah, thanks to you guys.
I know.
Thank you so much, guys. You're
You
getting
gorgeous
down.
lot out there.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You're getting down in the comments, and there's new people getting down in the comments as well.
Oh, yes.
And repeat people as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they lovely?
Oh, they're absolutely beautiful. Honestly,
yes.
we love you guys. We really do.
Yes, we do.
We certainly do.
Part of the Moonstomp community.
So yeah, absolutely.
And the church.
Indeed.
The Church of
Indeed.
Moonstomp.
Yeah, there you go. Sunday morning church. Where else would you rather be? Guys, we hope you've had a wonderful week. We've had a really, really busy week.
Oh, yes.
And what I'm going to say is this: if I'm late in replying to comments, I've had a technical issue.
Oh, gosh.
Like a real bad technical issue that set me back hours and hours and hours, and probably about 3 hours sleep over the last 2 nights trying to sort it out.
Yeah, trying to fix this problem.
It's fixed now, I think, fingers crossed. I do apologise if I've been a little bit short or not with myself.
Through no fault of your own.
But we're back, aren't we? Back with a bang.
Back with a bang.
Mrs Moonstomper.
Yes, Mr Moonstomper, yes.
So today's episode, guys, is all about
Blitz.
Blitz indeed. So, Blitz, hailing from New Mills in Derbyshire. Okay, wow.
Lovely Derbyshire.
Now, right, started in 1980. Now, that's a bit of a strange place to come. Well, it's not a strange place to come from.
No, it's
but
sort of unheard of.
It's not your typical oi punk band sort of territory, is this?
That's it.
But I suppose you've got to live somewhere. So,
and start something somewhere.
Absolutely.
Such as oi and punk.
Yeah, but not hailing from London for a change, or
makes a change.
Newcastle or Manchester or one of the other big cities. So, what do you know about Blitz and Mrs Moonstomper?
Oh, Mr Moonstomper. They've had many members, just like all the other bands. We're sort of repeating ourselves. We come to talking about bands.
Not particularly, no. Not this band, but the original. Right, so the original band members consisted of Carl Fisher on the vocals.
Yes.
Charlie Howe on the drums, Nige Miller on the guitar,
yes.
or Nige. Some people call him Nige, but it's
looks
Nige.
like Nige.
In there, it's Nige, and then Neil McLennan, also known as Mackie on the bass.
Yes.
So a 4-piece. Now, if I remember rightly. Now, there's not a great deal about this band. If you go to look them up, there's not a great deal written. Probably because they weren't that famous, so they weren't mainstream.
No.
They were an independent band, but 2 were skinheads, if I remember rightly.
Yes.
And 2 were punks, so it was 2 and 2. And while I would say they haven't got a unique sound, you know it's Blitz.
Oh, I see, yes.
So in terms of recording, very sort of not DIY, but not very well recorded, but none the worse for it.
Alright, that's true.
Yeah, as a lot of bands are, you know.
Yes.
Apart from like your big ones that are commercial success.
Commercial.
That's what I'm trying to say. So, right, they had success in the so they did have some success. I find it a devil of a job to say that. I don't know why.
Six rocks.
In the indie charts in the early 80s.
Yes.
So the indie charts are the independent charts.
Of course, yes.
For independent bands, independent record labels, and that was a good measuring. It was a good yardstick, good measuring stick for independent bands.
Yes, of course.
And then some of those would spring from independent to mainstream, but you know, I always preferred the indie charts. So there, because you'd sort of got punk and skinhead and that sort of toxic heady mix. Right, they were championed by Sounds magazine. None other than guess who? Gary Bushell, who appears on many of our videos.
Yes,
And
yes.
the reason they were is because I sent him a demo tape in, I think it was the early 80s, 81.
81, yes.
If I remember rightly. Now, Bushell, being Bushell, typical journalist, but if we didn't have Bushell, then who would we have?
That's it.
Labelled that band as Oi straight away.
We wouldn't have Oi without Gary Bushell.
Well, no, he wouldn't, sir. He actually coined that phrase.
Yes.
Now, he was that impressed with them, he put them on, he put 2 of the tracks on, I think it was Carry On, the Carry On Oi Oi compilation, and I think it was Nation on Fire and Youth, and I think that got them they got a record deal out of that with, was it No Future? No Future.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a bit of a poignant thing, isn't it? But the band actually went to his house.
He spent some time, you let them into his house to stay with him for a bit.
But he lives in East London in the Ferrier estate.
Yes.
And hailing from Derbyshire, the soft sort of rolling sort of green countryside of Derbyshire, going to a council estate in sort of south East London, it scared the living shit out of them.
So that was a bit of a rough area.
Well, they'd never seen anything like that at all. And they sort of, obviously concrete jungle, they were like, wow, really, really freakily scary.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes. Didn't Nige fall out with Gary Bushell?
Nige, you call him Nige?
Nige.
Yeah.
Yes, he had a bit of a racking with Bushell. They fell out for a bit,
I
didn't they?
think he did, but I don't ask me what that was about. But nevertheless, so they actually got the record deal with No Future.
Yes.
And they got that in, I'm gonna say 1981, and then they got a release with an EP, which was All Out Attack.
Yes.
And then they did a debut album, which was the
Voice of a Generation.
Yeah, and that got a surprise, that got a 5-star review by Gary Bushell, it sounds, but not that he was biased or anything. So,
Yes. Didn't 2 of the other band members have a bit of a fallout as well?
I think it was Fisher and McLennan.
Yes.
I think. Don't quote me on that. And then Fisher and Howe went off and formed their own band, as you do.
Yes, they did.
But then Fisher moved to Australia.
Went down under.
as you do. And according to Miller, he's working with computers.
Wow.
And then, but Miller and McLennan briefly formed, was it Banner of, was it the
Rose of Victory?
Oh, is that what it was called?
Yes. It was the last single on the No Future label, I think.
But then they returned to the Blitz name.
Yes,
they went back to that.
Chopped from one band name and then back.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
So Blitz, Rose of Victory, then Blitz again.
Oh, right, okay. Confused you will be. Confused be you will. So in '83 they did the second LP, which was Second Empire of Justice, and that was on the No Future
label.
With Tim Harris.
Guitar and keyboards.
Yeah. And crediting Mackie because of his departure into post-punk and new wave characteristics. But I mean, I've seen that and it's awful.
Oh.
It's
the audience didn't favour it very much.
No, it's right. Okay, it's awful.
Oh
right.
Dear.
Okay, and then it was commercially unsuccessful, and because it was commercially unsuccessful, No Future.
Yes.
No Future actually sung.
Oh.
Because that song, the Fisher and Howe arrangement also went with this as well.
Yes.
Which was a shame.
The sort of lost interest.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. But the band split up, and I think the band split up.
They said they weren't really into music, so it makes me wonder why.
I don't understand that. Why would you? We're not really into music, and it's like, so why did you do that then if you're not really into music?
Or touring as well.
Okay,
that's a bit.
That's whack.
The mind boggles.
Yeah, that's whack. But then they reformed in 2011 or something.
Yes.
And then it was formed the band Epic Problem.
Epic Problem as well, yes.
And that was based in New Mills as well. And then they released 2 EPs on that. But I mean, going back to that, the we're not into music.
I know, it's just like they did it. I don't know, like it's like they're forced to do it. Not really wanting to do it.
But that, you know, I mean, you know, the LP in 1989, Killing Dream.
Dream, yes.
Now, I think that Miller produced that, and I think he played guitars, bass, and drums.
Proper multi-talented,
as you do. With Gary Bassnett handling the vocals and Paul Lilly
recruited to
organise the gigs.
Organise the gigs, yes.
Something like that, yeah.
Yes,
But yeah, I mean that to me is a bit of a Prince move.
Okay. Oh
Yeah,
yes.
playing all his own instruments with a mic, old film move, if you like.
That's it.
So yeah, I mean, but so you going back to like the many members. It got a rolling roster.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much the same as Bad Manners has a rolling roster.
Okay. Yes.
And then the Foreskins as well.
Yeah.
So it was just that continuous.
Revolving door.
Absolutely.
Yes.
With lots and lots of people to boot. But that was the sort of like the early 2000s.
It was, yes.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know a great deal about Blitz. I'll be brutally honest with you.
Oh yes, me too.
But what I'll say is, again, like the Angelic Upstarts, they're a great band.
Yes.
Paul
Lilly. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Paul Lilly.
All right.
Right, he was only recruited for doing gigs.
Yes.
So going back to that point.
Yes.
And right, so he did become a full-time member of the band, but right, I think it was their New Breed EP.
Yeah, it's the EP in 1992.
But that okay, the single cover carried a message, something about them being a one-man band.
Okay.
To those who say Blitz is now a one-man band, it always was. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, well that's a bit.
We thought that. Oh.
I don't know. I just find that I find it. I don't know if I was in that band and I'd left that band and I saw that. I think I'd feel a bit bitter about that.
I think anyone would.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just going back to that point. That you know, I just find it a bit. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I just don't
difficult to explain.
I don't that bit and the bit like we never liked music, and it strikes me of Paul Weller's very similar.
Oh yeah.
Sort of going off on a tangent. Yeah. And I sort of remember an interview with him in Classic Guitar magazine, where they wanted to talk about like he plays a Rickenbacker, and they wanted to talk about that and his amp set up, and he was just no, it's just a guitar, don't care. And that was like kind of the end of the interview, to be honest with you. It was like pointless, and they just had him down as arrogant. But I mean, well, do you know what? It's an opinion, isn't it?
Yes, opinions differ. People are entitled to their opinions.
I think so, definitely.
Whether it be good or bad, positive or negative.
I think so. Now, Blitz never really played anywhere massive. If that makes sense. They it's not that they struggle for gigs, but again, what you've got to realise is I think they started a little bit too late. And
1980.
there's a reason for that. So, if you're in London,
yes,
at the time that Oi sort of kicked off in the late 70s, you'd have been there, you'd have been on point, it would have been fashionable.
Yes.
However, living in the sort of, it's not the back end of Beyond, but it is, isn't it?
All right. Is Derbyshire up north? Derbyshire?
Well,
is it
it's
north?
Midlands, really.
All right.
Yeah, it's like the next.
Oh yeah, silly me.
It's the next. It's just after Staffordshire, so it's like kind of like the next county, Mrs Moonstomper.
You can tell my geographical skills aren't up to.
Yeah, you just live a little bit by it, but okay, fair enough. Yeah, so you're not too far away. Yeah, if you just think of Bakewell and.
We've actually been there. We've been been up there, yes. Yeah. On the bike.
Yeah, many times. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, but things didn't filter through.
No.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh right.
So it's kind of how things were in London, but by the time they filtered up north, it was like sort of 4 or 5 years later.
Yes, it's all sort of done and dusted by then.
Yeah, and I find that quite strange. You could go to London. The one thing I'll say about London, sorry if you come from London, guys, but I don't think there's any Londoners in London anymore.
Oh gosh.
It's
all
again
different.
It's the loneliest bloody city in the world. It's like you can walk around London all day and nobody will speak to you.
Gosh.
Because it's just full of
like tourists.
Yeah, it's the United Nations of nothing.
Yeah,
it really is, and I don't mean that disrespectfully.
I suppose like everywhere else, up and down the country, it's the same.
No, I don't think it is actually. Not at all. If you went to Liverpool, it's friendly and it's vibrant.
Oh yeah.
If you go to Newcastle, it's friendly and it's vibrant.
Oh,
if you go to Sheffield and Leeds, again friendly and vibrant. If you go to Birmingham, it's completely impersonal, sterile, and nobody says a bloody word. Yeah, okay, fair enough. And that's just, and Manchester as well, and that's just big cities for you.
Yes.
It's just nobody sort of lives in the middle of it. It's just people come from outside in.
Yes, alright.
Yeah. So you can see the demographics change, that's what I'm trying to say. But because of that, it's really fast moving.
Yes.
And because it's fast moving, fashion moves really, really quickly in places like that.
They do.
Whereas up north and, smaller places, Wolverhampton's another place in the Black Country as well, which I find is really, really different to Birmingham, although it's next door. So what happened in Birmingham 2 years ago is only just happening in the Black Country now, if that makes sense.
Some people mistake Birmingham for the Black Country, and it's not the Black Country, it's just
it's nowhere near. Yeah, it's nowhere. But anyway, so we digress, but you kind of get you kind of get the idea.
Yeah.
So it was because again, going back to that point, because they started too late. The death knell had already told for boy bands with incidents like the Hamborough Tavern, where it just sort of kicked off, and then they all got that label, did they not? Oi bands and punk bands, especially bands with skinheads in.
Yeah.
If you got 2 skinheads in that band, but then when you look at what they actually changed into, wow, yeah, I just again,
It's to beggars, isn't it?
Well, yeah. So I mean, they've gone from what they originally were, but fashion sort of got the better of them, and I think they did a bit of a anti-nowhere.
I was going to say I knew what you was thinking.
They went a bit new waving. Just for me, that was just that's what really put me off. I was just like, oh man,
not for everybody.
No, definitely not for everyone. It was a bit strange.
Yes.
But Mrs Moonstomper.
Yeah, I missed.
Oh dear, I didn't miss this time. Right, do you think? What, we should take a break, come back after the break, and we'll complete what we need.
To give them what they need.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm trying to say. There you go. So, guys, see you in a moment.
See you in a bit.
And yet, how ironic that American musicians like Iggy Pop, Lou Reed, Patti Smith, Debbie Harry, and the Ramones were such an essential part of the early growth of punk in this country. On the subject of punk in Britain and people with nervous systems like liver flukes, we now go to Steve for a chat with sounds journalist Gary Bushell.
Thanks very much, mate. From time to time, the musical press seems to create whole new batches of musical categories which seemingly exist to puzzle and bemuse their readers, setting up a whole new series of alternatives to identify with, or not, as the case may be. Well, one of the newest to emerge is new wave punk, although personally I didn't really know it'd been away. So here to suffer the slings and arrows and all that stuff is Mr. Gary Bushell, features editor of Sounds, and 2 members of the Manchester band Blitz, who I'm told are the forerunners of the movement. Well, firstly, Gary, new wave punk, where did it come from? Was it your front room or somewhere, or where?
No, I mean, everyone's saying about the music press creating trends, but I think for the last 3 years the music press has tried to destroy what punk was. They tried to say it had gone. In fact, it hadn't gone. I mean, lots of bands all over the country were keeping it alive, like the UK Subs, the Angelic Upstarts, Cockney Rejects. And now the actual pressure's built up from the grassroots so much that people can't ignore what's happening.
Right, I mean, how do you justify the supposed political involvement? I mean, I'm quoting you here, I have a quote right in front of me, which says, the gutter press which indulges in scummy miscoverage. I mean, how can you justify the political involvement if that's happening?
Well, there is. I mean, it is political with a small p because I mean you're talking about a whole generation of people where a quarter of the population live under the poverty line. You're talking about millions of people on the dole, and the people who form punk bands now tend to be those sort of people. So obviously they're against the establishment. Obviously they're against unemployment. So that's the political element of it. Yeah.
Sure, okay, but taking it as let's take it as the old wave of '77 almost. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but politically then. Musically, how does this new wave differ from that? Is it all that different?
Musically, not all, I mean, it tends to be a lot harder, a lot faster, but actual socially, it's actually, this new wave now is what the first wave pretended to be. I mean, the first wave was all art students pretending to be off the dole, and now this wave is people off the dole, not pretending at all, but telling the truth.
Right, I got you, okay. If I may quote again, I've got some categories here, within the whole category of what we're talking about. Street socialist punk, anti-political Herberts, which is a great one, skunk rock, oi, new punk, Nazi skins, redskins. Now, and the Blitz have been described as the nabobs of yob rock, which is a wonderful phrase. Could one of you please describe your way?
No, that's his idea.
Is that
we
one
don't
of
know what
his
it means.
This is one of Mr. Bush's phrase, right?
Yeah, yob rock, but I don't know what nabox is.
Okay, nabob, I believe. I mean, what category are you guys in?
Just a punk band, really.
So, I mean, how do you regard the new wave of punk? Do you regard yourself as part of this?
Yeah, of course I do, yeah.
So, and how does that align with the old wave of '77? How are you different?
A lot were working class, they were all middle class.
That was all sort of big fashion thing then.
Right.
The fashion element's sort of gone out of it now, and it's more to do with music. It's more what it should have been.
Okay, I mean, out of that '77 wave, you had the Blondie and the Stranglers, maybe, who later went on to become, let's face it, top of the popsters. I mean, what's to prevent Blitz not doing that? What's going to stop you?
We
Are you
will
going to
do.
stop it?
Yeah, no.
You
we
want
want
to
to
do
do top of pops, yeah, of course we do.
You would?
Nothing against doing it.
That's not against your morals or
That's
your
what-
principles or whatever?
All them bands in '77, they said they didn't want to be rich.
Right.
And the next minute they were going around in limousines. Right?
Sure.
Well, anybody who says they don't want to be rich is either a liar or a bleeding idiot.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right? I do want to be sodding rich. We'll go on top of pops.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. Right, gents, thanks very much. I'm sure this could go on for hours. Many thanks indeed. And over to you, Nikki.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Sure hope you enjoyed that little interval.
Yeah, sure, hope you did. So, Mrs Moonstomper, one for you, one for me.
One potato, two potato.
Yeah, just because I like to share. Right, Blitz. Right, so, right, going back to the sort of, right, when they sort of break up, like,
Break up, make up.
yeah. And going back to Miller's recruited floating roster of many people, sounds like Joseph's amazing technical dreamcoat of many colours, doesn't it?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Had a bit of a long break in between, or a long break.
A massive break. So going back to like when they reformed after their like sort of long break.
Yes.
So going back to their sort of like roster of
All these different band members.
yeah, which was a bit I
This
don't
is the
know.
early 2000s.
For me, that wasn't Blitz.
No.
You know, it's Blitz by name only.
That's it.
But wasn't Miller killed in 2007?
Yes.
He was. Didn't he die on the? Didn't he
He
lost?
was in Austin, Texas. Wandered onto the freeway somehow. I don't know if he was trying to cross or his car broke down or he wanted to walk into the traffic, but he suddenly got hit by a vehicle and died on impact.
He was only 48.
48 years
I mean,
old.
that's just incredible. That is.
It baffles me as to
yeah.
how he's ended up in the traffic.
But,
It's a sad loss though.
I think it's a tragic loss. It's
Tragic,
absolutely awful.
yes.
But what I will say is I think that same time in America, there were actually at CBGB's as well.
Oh yes.
And
The famous CBGBs.
they recorded that for posterity, as you do.
Yes.
And it was later released. Now, if I remember rightly, it was released it was pre-COVID, just before COVID.
Oh, about 2020 sort of.
I can't quite remember when.
I think it was.
It could have been a little bit earlier, could have been, but it's a really good recording.
Yes.
But again, it's Blitz by name. in my humble opinion.
Just like this UB40 thing. There's 2 UB40s.
Don't start.
I won't even go there.
But just looking at some of their singles as well, so some of their early stuff.
Yeah.
You know, wow. Yeah, they've had some really, really good stuff.
Someone's gonna die tonight.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
I really do. Yeah, really do.
Oi.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. And Never Surrender, which you heard at the beginning of the show.
Oh yes.
Yeah. In fact, someone's going to die tonight. I might put it at the end of the show, actually,
Okay.
because I've got a soft spot for that. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Voice of a Generation.
Warriors.
We Are the Boys as well.
We are boys.
Yeah.
We are the boys. Yes.
Warriors. Now somebody's done a YouTube video and they've put like the actual Warriors the film. If you're old enough to remember that, then big up to you.
We've seen the film. Warriors.
Oh God, yeah, I've seen it a million times.
Many times.
I saw it when it first came out. Not
Okay.
that I'm trying to give my age away, but I did when it very, very first came, and The Wanderers as well, for that
Okay.
matter. And yeah, somebody's actually put that song to the film.
Ah. Right.
Yeah, as you do, as you do. Yeah.
The bottles on the fingers clinking as well, do they?
I can't remember actually. I can't remember. I just watched it and I was like, okay, fair
It's
enough.
alright.
Yeah, that was the rock, and then they've got like, what was it, Escape Your Revolution?
Propaganda.
Yeah, but those are Criminal Damage, and those are all like the sort of like the early singles.
From 1982, these were.
But what I would say, in my again humble opinion, that's the best bit of Blitz.
Oh yes.
I think. Well, that's what I think. And then when they sort of got to the sort of like the new age, it sort of went a bit. It went off the ball for me. To be honest
Oh
with you.
dear. Yes.
Yeah. But there you go. You can't. Yeah.
I did a year later, I think they did telecommunication. The telecommunication and underground as well.
I can't remember.
Yes.
I can't remember.
Yes.
And like I say, with this band again, it's just one of those that was. It's if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. But if you went to look for it, there's not a great deal of information
No,
on
there
the
isn't.
internet. There's not.
Which is a
So-
shame.
Well, it is, but I just don't think it was recorded for posterity.
Oh, I see.
And it's a shame. Or if it was recorded, it was deleted.
Oh.
Like a lot of people, they just want to delete things because, you know, well, no, that doesn't fit in with the narrative, maybe.
The narrative, flipping out.
Possibly, maybe. Just
Who
a thought.
knows?
Well, it doesn't with some bands, that's
Some
for sure.
bands.
You know, if you look at
That's
Screwdriver, if you went to dig around and look at Screwdriver, there is very little information about that band because it's deleted.
Yes.
It's just consigned to the bins of history.
Gosh.
Yeah, and that's a shame. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Mrs Moonstomper.
Yes.
Mrs Moonstomper.
Yes. Sister.
There you go, one for me.
If you do it yourself, if I do it, then I don't bounce. If I do it to you, you don't bounce. If you do it to me,
Bounce, there you
Oh.
go. Fair enough. Yeah. Have you got anything else, Mrs Moonstomper?
the reels of my mind have run empty again.
Thank God for that. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking, actually. But yeah, yeah.
Yes.
The best of this band was short-lived for me, in my opinion.
There were.
Yeah.
I think a lot of other people would agree.
Maybe. What's your opinions down in the comments, guys?
Yes,
What
yes.
do you think of Blitz? You know, I rank them alongside the Upstarts and you know and other great bands like that. It was just that for me. It was that period in the sort of the early 80s.
Yes.
And the late 70s when I kicked in. But then it went as soon as it, you know, we didn't go, it just, you know.
Wasn't around for
It was
very
just
long.
it was just pushed to the corner, wasn't it?
Okay.
Because that's not politically correct, is it? But you know, there you go. Fair enough. Can't win them all. So, Mrs Moonstomper.
Yes, Mr Moonstomper, yes. Mr. Moonstomper.
Okay. What have we got coming up next week?
Have we
You just don't know, do you?
I don't know.
No, neither do I, because we haven't decided yet.
No.
But we've got some great bands coming up. Some absolutely fabulous
A
bands.
whole caboodle of bands
Yeah.
that I think you're gonna love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
And we're fast approaching Skinhead Reunion,
Yes.
which is
Coming
the
up.
last weekend in
Is it June?
May.
Oh, May,
No,
yes. Oh.
end of May, beginning of June. But I have a dilemma because it clashes with the TT at the Isle of Man.
Which one do you go to? The Skinner reunion?
Well,
The TT Isleman? Isleman TT Skinner reunion?
well, we just don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So if we go there, guys, I'll meet up with you, obviously. But
It'd be nice to see
if I
you.
don't, then you know I'm at the TT. Or I might be hard at work. Who knows? So we just have to wait and see.
Things have a habit of changing.
But next week, I think we'll have a great episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just don't know what's around the corner.
No, definitely.
We'll see.
Not. Yeah.
Keep watching.
Well, there you go. It's told you guys. Yeah. So, nothing else, Mrs Moonstomper?
No, Mr. Moonstomper.
Are you sure?
How about you?
No, nothing. I've got nothing else apart from, guys, as ever. If you haven't subscribed, do so. I think it'd be amazing to get to
Step on it.
3,000 subs, and we're not far
We're nearly
off.
there. Just instant
Yeah, and I
bit
did,
away from
and,
3K.
and it's in just over a year, which is ridiculous. That really is, because
ridiculously good.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, because most channels struggle to get to sort of 500 in a year,
Gosh,
and
yes.
we've just done it. Well, you've done it, guys.
That's it.
You've absolutely
Couldn't
smashed
do it without you.
Yeah. So if you haven't done it, do so. It doesn't cost you a penny, and you'll be part of a community, and that's what it's all about.
The Moonstomper community.
Yeah, and your opinions in the comments, valid, they're welcome, and
It means such a lot.
how much do I learn from those comments?
I know, a heck of a lot.
There's some really knowledgeable guys and girls out there who put things in the comments, and
yes.
they're really valuable stuff I didn't know.
We just bounce off each other, don't we?
Certainly
We
do
do,
indeed,
yes.
in the nicest sense, obviously. So there you go.
Ricochet.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing else.
No.
Okay. Me neither. So short and sweet as ever, guys. I do
Yes.
apologise for this one. It's been a hell of a week, but we said that last week as well. Hopefully next week we'll be back to normal. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll have something nice for you next week. I think. Yeah.
Wait and see.
So, until the next time, guys, as ever, I love you all. I've been Mr Moonstomper, and peace out.
Peace out. Love you all. See you next time.